we're going to spend a little bit more time focusing on the spine. So, I mean, the spine, where do you start? Am I right? There's so many. It's just such an important part of our body, and loads of us, because we are, office workers for the most part, we do tend to compress it. We tend not to use the full mobility and flexibility of it. So for this session, we're going to spend a little bit more time, I guess, looking at that, addressing that. So we're going to look at flexibility, but also strengthening it. So that's what we're going to look at today. So wherever you are, we're actually going to start lying on our back today. So bring the soles of your feet together and then just lie on back. And if this isn't comfortable for you, if you have got anything going on your back, which means lying down like this isn't right for you today, then feel free to come to whatever works. And just take a few moments here, close the eyes if it feels comfortable. And we're just going to start class by tuning into the breath as we do every week. So just taking some nice deep inhales and exhalations. If you're comfortable, you can take the hands to the abdomen. You can actually feel your torso rise and fall with every inhale and every exhale, really bringing that, tactile awareness to what goes on in your body in this process that we often take for granted. And just using these few moments as we begin to bring our awareness into our bodies, into this space, this half hour that we've set aside to do some yoga practice today, to really tune into how we're feeling and to explore what's going on in our bodies today. So it's different day to day, it's different each time we get on the mat. So just taking a quick scan from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And just taking stock of what's going on. And not passing any judgment on this. It's, like I say, it varies day to day, especially if you've got any injuries or any tension going on in the body. But just using whatever information we find to inform our practice and to make this a really nourishing, mindful yoga practice today. Maybe try and lengthen the exhale just a bit longer than the inhalation. That feels comfortable. And when you're ready, just gently open the eyes, go back into them. If you had your legs out towards the side, just take your hands on the outer edge of your thighs and just bring them back to standing so your feet are on the mat here. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of, it's a really small motion, it's pelvic tilt, so we're not really going to lift up off the mat yet, we will get to that. But from here, I just want you to tilt your pelvis so that you're pressing your entire mid-back onto the ground. So that kind of space in your mid-back is kind of flattening in towards the air. And then I want you to reverse that motion, so kind of tilting at the hips, tilting the pelvis, rolling up, so you're making that kind of mid-gap here, just underneath your rib cages, just a little bit wider off the ground there, and just moving through that a couple of times in your own time. So you can match this to the breath if you like. It's not a big movement, but it's really exploring what happens here in the spine when we tilt our pelvis. Just moving through that a few more times. And then coming to a stop when you've kind of reached what you feel to be your neutral spine, so your neutral setting of your pelvis, I guess. So really, as we're moving through this today, we're kind of going to explore some extremes. Sometimes it's nice to do, like to really arch your back in one direction and really take it back and tilt posteriorly, tilt in the opposite direction to really get a sense of what the middle is. So from here, we're just going to do a nice gentle bridge. So taking the arms alongside your body, press into your big toes. So you might want to scoot your feet in a little bit for this first one, or scoot them a little bit further out. See what feels comfortable. Everyone is going to press into our big toes. So taking a big inhale here, press into your arms, press into your big toes. Push the thighs in the direction of each other. So we're not bringing them together, but like we're squeezing a watermelon. Then on your next inhale, we're just going to lift the spine up off the mat, just coming up onto the shoulders. It's a nice bridge posture here. So while we're here, take stock of what's going on in your legs. I know we're focusing on the spine today, but usually you find that if you're feeling a little bit tight in one area, your body overcompensates in the other. So if you're finding that your legs are falling out towards the side, come a bit lower and see if you can track those knees in direct, so they're parallel with each other. So again, like you're squeezing a watermelon between your thighs, you don't want it to drop onto the floor. This should really activate through your glutes. One more breath here. Then on your next exhale, gently lowering back down onto the mat. So just coming down the same movement and then hug your knees in towards your chest. Really nice. You can rock from side to side if that feels comfortable for you. So we're going to do that one more time. So take the feet down, hip width apart, or maybe a little bit wider than hip width apart. You can play with the distance from your feet to your sit bones. So if your feet are really close to your sit bones like this, they're really close in, you might find that it pulls on your knees just a little bit. It's a little bit harder to get into it. So if that's the case, you might just scoot those feet out just a little bit more. Taking the arms down here, you can do a little pivot tilt if you like. Just get ready for where we're going. On your next inhale, just press into the feet, press into the hands, lifting everything all the way up off the mat. So one vertebrae at a time. So even as I'm talking through this, try not to look at the screen. So try and just keep the gaze straight up towards the ceiling. So there's a tendency, especially when we're on an online class, to kind of like, oh, look, am I doing this? Am I doing the same as what I'm instructing? And I guarantee that you either are doing exactly as I'm instructing, or you're doing whatever is good for your body, whatever your body is telling you. And I really invite you to explore that. I really want you to make sure that you're not compromising the neck by straining at the screen here. Option to keep the arms here, or you can interlace the hands underneath and kind of press the shoulders in towards the ground. You can maybe come up a little bit higher doing this. And if that doesn't feel good on your shoulders or you're feeling compressed in the breath, then feel free to come out of it or to come back to the first variation. Everything is optional here. All right, really nice. One last breath here. And then we're going to unhook our arms if we had our arms clasped. And then gently lower all the way back down onto the mat. And again, just give your shins and your legs a little hug in towards the body. Maybe you're not side to side. Really nice. All right. From here, we're going to rock all the way onto our hands and knees. So however you want to do that, you can roll onto your side, or you can grab behind your hamstrings, a little rock, roll, and all the way up, maybe to a wee seat. Cross over the ankles and come to a tabletop. So wrists in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. And again, just take stock of your foundation. So spread your fingertips nice and wide. We're just going to do a little bit of cat cow. This is like my all-time favourite spine mobility movement. So from here, we're just going to dip our belly button down towards the ground and take the gaze forward. So keep the elbows nice and soft. As you exhale, we're going to move like a Mexican wave. So starting at the tail of your spine, we're going to arch the back, sending the spine all the way up towards the ceiling. Tucking the chin in. The chin should always be the last thing to move. And you're going to reverse that motion. So just again, starting at the tail of the spine, rolling through the entire length of the back, and really bringing awareness to each section of the back as you move through it. So the low back, the mid back, all the way into the upper back. Again, I'm just going to let you move through that your own pace and length of breath. So again, you can match the movement to your breath, or if that feels like it's too much in terms of coordination, if it's not working, then really just enjoy the movement. Nice. We'll do one more coming to angry cat, arching the spine. And tap the belly down towards the ground. And then come back to your neutral spine. So it's not you're not arching, you're not dipping down. And just press into your foundation. Alright, so from here. So when we're thinking about the spine, we're also technically thinking about the torso. So a lot of the back bends, I tend not to think of back bends as back bending, but more front opening. So when you're in like upward dog, you're opening up through the front of the body as well. So there's a little bit of action going on in the core here. So that's what we're going to work with next. So pulling your navel in the direction of your spine. So really what I want you to do is activate these core muscles, switch them on, or at least have the awareness that, okay, I want to switch these core muscles on for what we're doing here, and especially for any back bend, just to help keep our spine safe. Press into your fingertips. Maybe tuck your tail just a little tiny bit, pull navel to spine, and we're going to send our right leg directly behind us. So we're not going super high here. We're going in line with the hips. So as soon as you lift that leg, my tendency anyways is to collapse through the spine here. So what I want you to do is kind of tuck the tail under, bring the navel to spine, engage the core. And then when you're ready, we're going to reach the opposite arm, so left hand out in front of you. And again, trying to keep that nice straight line from your toes all the way to your fingertips. Really building in some stability here. It's a really tricky one when you start thinking about the navel on the spine. It is for me anyway. Hold in for another wee breath. And then replace the hand, replace that knee back down. Same thing, opposite side. So this time sending your left leg back behind you. And again, just check in, make sure you're not away up here, or you can tap the toes down if you're finding your balance really tricky. Or you can bring it in line with your torso. So anywhere from in line with your butt cheeks and below is what we're looking for. Don't want to be taking it too high just now. And again, tune into what's going on in your torso. Pull navel to spine, really engage through the core. That should feel like a little bit spicy. It should feel like a little bit of fire here. And then when you're ready, reach your right hand out in front of you. So again, thinking super straight line from the tips of your fingers all the way down to your back heel. So flex that back heel, so toes point down towards the ground. Take another quick breath here. I'll say quick breath, take a nice deep breath. Even though some of the postures we're doing are challenging, breathe as deeply as you can. And tune in what's going on with your spine. Are we collapsing down? Are we over compensating? Try and make your own little micro adjustment here, be your own teacher. And then when you're ready, replace the hand, replace the knee. Oh, maybe give your hips a wee sway side to side. It's harder than it looks. I always think when you start to bring the awareness in, it makes everything just a little bit harder. All right. We're going to walk the hands forward. We're going to come to line on our belly. So however you want to get there. And we're going to do what I call belly swim arms. So we're really practicing for when we're going into the swim basket. This is when someone will walk into the room and they'll be like, what are you doing? Because I'm doing yoga. This is yoga. So we're going to build in some strength here. So again, thinking heel navel to spine, even when we're lying on our belly, and it's not a big motion. It's not this, like we're posing for a photo and we want to suck our entire belly in. Nothing like that. Really, it's just a kind of little micro engagement through your navel here. So if you had like a nice little penny that you didn't want to lie your belly on, you're hugging your belly in just a little bit, just kind of engage those muscles there. And then when you're ready, we're going to reach the arms out in front of us. Take an inhale here. Exhale, and on your next inhale, we're going to lift the arms, lift the chest. So we're kind of like in the Superman, push down through all 10 toes. Our toes are on the mat. Take another breath in. As you exhale, bend the elbows back and send the arms all the way back behind, just keeping the chest lifted. And you'll sweep the arms all the way around so you can see that this is like spinning here. Exhale, bend the elbows, bend the arms all the way back alongside your body. And your last time, send the arms straight out in front of you, Superman. Exhale, bend the elbows and all the way back. And place the hands down. Take your head to one side, or you can make a little pillow with your hands and just rest your forehead down and just let everything settle. See what's going on here. It's quite a challenging one. It's really, really nice. Just breathe it all the way into your back body. Left in your head. We're going to take our hands quite wide, so you're coming up onto your fingertips. So imagine that you've got little spider fingertips here. Press into your fingertips. We're taking them kind of diagonally off the mat. Bending the elbows. We're going to push into our fingertips. Lift the chest, lift the torso. This exalted cobra here. This is moving into more flexibility. You're still pushing down through all 10 toes. You can start to walk the fingertips back a little bit. And again, keep that engagement through the navel just ever so slightly. Even though we're in this quite intense back bend, you want to make sure that you're keeping everything really nice and safe. So if you're feeling any tension, it's a sign to lower down a little bit, ease off, give the body what it needs. One big deep breath here, maybe scoot a little bit higher, if that feels good for you. As you exhale, we're just going to lower down, bend the elbow out towards the side, lower all the way down. Take the hands in line with the shoulders. We're just going to press all the way back into a nice child's pose. So bring your big toes together to touch. Sit bones back towards the heel, forehead and the direction of the floor. It doesn't need to be on the floor. Really nice. Really breathe in deeply into the back of your body here. So breathing so deeply that you can feel the back of your body expand. And then relax into the floor. Okay, take the gaze towards the hands. We're going to float forward, bring your feet parallel. And then we're going to tuck our toes under. So coming into this active child's pose. Press into your fingertips. Spread the hands nice and wide as you can make them. Press into your little gecko finger pads. And then press into your hands so much so that you're just going to float the knees just a little micro inch off the mat. Breathe in here. And then we're going to send the hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. Really nice. So you can pedal through the feet here. You can take the hips side to side. So really make it quite fluid to start with. This is our first down dog of the class. It's kind of getting colder now. So you might be feeling it in the hamstrings. And I certainly am. I'm always really tight in hamstrings. So that's the case where you can bend the knees. If you get anything going on in the shoulders, you can drop the knees down and come back to tabletop. Or soften through the knees. Take whatever modification your body is looking for today. On your next inhale, take the gaze towards the hands. We're just going to walk the feet and take the hands. So bend the knees as much as you need to. We're going to meet here in a forward fold. Soften through the knees. You can grab the back of your calves here and just gently fold in. So it doesn't need to be a big, really intense forward fold. It can be nice and gentle. Forward folds are really nourishing for us. Any sort of position where our head is below our heart is really relaxing for the nervous system. So good for times when we're feeling anxious or a little bit stressy. These are really nice poses just to help us relax our nervous system. Okay, soften through the knees. We're going to roll all the way up to standing, but take your time here. Don't just pull your head back. Rolling all the way up. Yeah, just the last thing to come up. Really nice. Take your feet hip width apart. We're just going to extend the hands all the way up towards the sky. We're going to hook our thumbs. So just like a little butterfly. Feet hip width apart, hooking our thumbs overhead. And we're just going to bend back, sending the arms just a little way, coming into like a micro back bend here, so it doesn't need to be too dramatic. And then coming all the way forwards, releasing the hands down. Option to keep the feet as they are if you find balance a little bit challenging. I certainly do. My floor's really uneven. Feel free to keep your feet hip width apart. If you want to, you can bring your feet together, so big toes touching wherever you are. But we're all going to take chair pose. So taking the fingertips down as if you were going to tickle the floor, and then reaching the fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling. So as if we were sitting on an imaginary seat here. And I really invite you, while we're here, to do some more pelvis tilts. I'm all about my pelvis tilts today. So really exaggerate. So stick your bum out and then curl it in. And I want you to just kind of move through that and kind of feel what is going on in your pelvis and feel what feels right. So I tend to find this phase person to person, depending on what you've got going on in your time. Really, generally, I invite you to have a neutral pelvis for a chair pose. It's kind of a bit of a debate topic in the yoga world, but I tend not to over-exaggerate in either direction. Really keep the core nice and tight, protect this lower back here, making the arms up if that feels comfortable, or you can bring them in towards heart center. So while we're here, bring the weight back a little bit. So sometimes we like to sneak the weight forward, and before we know it, we're out that door and away. So bring the weight back so that you can almost see your tippy toes. And then you can take the hands up overhead if you like, or if you want, you can keep them in towards heart center. Might be wondering how long we're going to stand here for. My thighs are burning. It's okay, it means everything's working. A little shake to where the magic happens. One last breath here. As you exhale, we're just going to come into another forward fold. Take fingertips down in the direction of the floor. Inhale, bring your hands to shins down nice and long. Take the gaze forward. Exhale, take your fingertips down, step your right foot back, coming into a low lunge here. Brilliant. We're going to lower our back knee down towards the mat, flatten through the back toes. Inhale, extend your arms up, lying down the asana. Really nice. So this pose is kind of a back bend in itself. So we want to be integrating what we've been talking about. Feeling able to spine. So the tendency in this is to just kind of collapse in. And you'll see this is really intense on my back. It's collapsing through here a little bit. And again, putting a bit of pressure on the lower back. It's not always a bad thing. But we really do want to protect this low back here. So pull your navel to spine. Maybe tuck your tail under just a little bit. And then sink from there. And you might find that you can't lower down as much as what you could before, but your body is probably in a bit more of a nicer position for your low back here. So extend the arms up and take a deep breath in. Exhale here, take the hands down, frame that front foot, tuck your back toe under. We're just going to walk back so that we're coming onto our left heel. This little half split here. Slash kind of forward fold. Walking the hands forward. Flatten the hands. We're going to step the left foot back to meet the right, coming into a low plank. So lift the back knee. Step your left foot back, and we're going to lower all the way down to our belly. So you can drop the knees if you want. We're lowering all the way down. Flatten through the hands. We're going to inhale. Pull with your hands to lift the chest forward. So when you're dragging the mat back, and you can lift the chest. Really nice. Exhale, lower back down. And you tuck the toes, send step lift all the way back up towards the sky. Down dog, down dog, down facing dog. Brilliant. Take the gaze forward. We're going to step all the way in to meet the hands. So take as many steps as you like here. Forward fold. On your next inhale, press into your toes, roll all the way up to standing. Extend the arms up towards the sky. Take a little bit back here if you like, and then come back to center. Really nice. We're going to do the same thing opposite sides. Take an inhale. Extend the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold it forwards. Inhale, bring your hands to shin, spine nice and long. Exhale, step left foot back. Lower back knee down. Extend the arms all the way up, flatten through the back foot. Really nice. So again, pausing here to take stock of what's going on in your hips. So pull navel to spine. and let yourself sink down as far as you're comfortable. So you really want to have this nice foundation with your legs. So push into your back toe and your front toe. Extend arms overhead, take an inhale. Exhale, in the front foot. Tuck your back toes. Roll back onto your front heels. Come into a half split. So toes are pulled back towards your torso. Take a deep breath in. Exhale as you fold forward. Really nice. Walking all the way back to the center. Tuck the back toes, lift that back foot, that back knee off the mat. Send the right foot back to meet the left. We're lowering all the way down onto our belly, so option to keep the knees lifted or lowered. Bend the elbows back towards the body, really building through some strength here. Lower all the way down with control. Really nice. Flatten through your toes. Inhale. Pull with your hands. Pull as if you're pulling the mat back to lift through the chest. Really nice. Upward facing dog. Exhale, lower back down. And you will come through your tables up or come straight back to down dog. Take a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're just going to gently lower our knees down towards the mat, crossing the ankles. We're going to come back to seated. Send our legs in front of you. Really nice. So while we're here, again, we want to be thinking about what's going on in the spine and the pelvis here. If you find this really difficult, and I say this because I found this difficult, it took me years to be able to sit with my spine straight. It's really challenging, I know firsthand how challenging that can be. So if you find that your spine is starting to kind of sink in a bit here, that's putting a lot of pressure on your low back. So what you want to do is either bend the knees as much as you need to get this nice straight spine. You can fold forward. Or take yourself next to a wall or grab a cushion and elevate the hips to give yourself that little bit of extra height that really helps you to lengthen through the spine here. So take an inhale, lengthen the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. As if someone was going to grab your hands and lift you up off the floor. Exhale, pull your navel to spine, fold it forward. You can reach for the toes or the shins or the backs of the thighs, or I personally quite like to keep the spine nice and straight and keep the fingertips on the mat. Breathe right here. Another in here. As you exhale, maybe walk the fingertips down a little bit more. Or maybe not, or maybe try a different hand position. Maybe you reach for the toes. Or maybe you think this is quite intense and I'm trying to bend the knees a little bit. You can reach for the feet here. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, release the bind. Flat your heels on the mat. We're going to come to lie on our back here. So we're going to bring our feet to standing. Send your arms out. We've done this before. We've been to these classes before. One of my favourite little sneaky little core moves I like to do. So we're going to lower down onto the floor. If someone was a friend who's really gently placing you back, they're going to lower you down. And when you find the bite, you'll know when you find it, we're just going to pause and hold for 5, okay? So lowering all the way down. Oh goodness. And then when you find the bite, press into your big toes. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue to lower, but keep that nice slow snail space. All the way down. Oh my goodness. Really, really nice. Beautiful. Up your knees in towards your chest, and then we're just going to take the knees over towards the left. Into a nice supine twist. So option to keep the gaze forward, or you can take the gaze over your right arm. Extend the right arm out if you've got space to do that, or you can cactus your arm. And he'll come back to center. Bring your knees back in, give yourself a little hug in. And then we're going to send the knees over towards the right, extend the left arm out. Give it space to do that. Maybe take the gaze over the left hand. So rather than force your knees down towards the ground, what I would much rather is you only lower as far as you can keep your left shoulder on the ground. So if your left shoulder is pulling up, I want you to think, okay, we'll pull our knees back a little bit until that shoulder is pressing towards the mat. So you want both shoulders to be nice and flat on the mat here. You can also get like cushions and make it really restorative and block some cushions underneath your knees. If you've got cushions handy, that is. Blankets or jumpers will work just as well. Anything that's soft really is nice. One last breath here. Bring your knees in towards your chest again. Give yourself a hug in. And then extend your legs down. We're going to come to Shavasana here. So a few moments of relaxation. So take whatever position works best for you. If it's not lying on your back, you can lie on your front, you can lie on your side. If you're prone to falling asleep, especially if you're not at home, come to seated. And really just find a position that really you can really relax in. So it's going to be different for everyone, right? Because we're all built differently. And then take your hands, you can either have them on your abdomen again, really tune into what's going on in the breath, or you can extend them alongside your body, palms turn up towards the ceiling. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Really tune into how you're feeling now that we've done a little bit of practice today. And again, just taking a quick scan from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And if you find any areas of tension, just trying to either take some movement that would help to release that, or you can breathe into that area. When you're ready, start to bring a little bit of movement back into the fingers, the toes. Maybe take a stretch overhead, take whatever kind of movements you'd like to take just now. We're going to make our way back up to seated. So whatever comfortable seat is for you. One onto your side and come all the way up. Nice. And extend the hands all the way up towards the sky, look up towards the thumbs. And bring the thumbs down to land on the crown of the head. Between the eyebrows, to your wisdom, to the heart. Then bowing it down towards the earth and giving thanks for the traditions of yoga and to yourself for taking the time to come to class today. I really appreciate it. So hope you enjoyed that. I hope whatever you're doing with the rest of your day, your week, that you're gonna have a good one.